Hello and welcome to the Geek Embassy Watches Game of Thrones. I'm your host, Regina McMenemy, and I'm here today with Nicole Tanner and Isabella, and we're going to talk about our theories.
I have notes.
Nicole has notes. We have been prepping for this episode. So we wanted to do like our last episode was like our initial reactions to the finale and what happened and kind of the end of the season. And this one, we're going to go a little more in depth into our thinking about what's happening, about what's to come, and discuss some of like the fan theories that have been bouncing around, because there's an awful lot going on and there's an awful lot to talk about. We kept a running document, and I think we have about 25, I'm going to say conservatively, links to articles of interest. Yeah. Now, mind you, they weren't all like super serious ones. Like I put in one for the fact that, oh God, who makes the Funko? The Funko Pops. Oh. Did one with the Night King and the Dragon and the Ice Dragon. So like they weren't all like serious ones, but there were some fun ones in there. But this is kind of our wrap up of a little bit of everything.
All the things.
All the things about the thing that we talked about so much. So one of the things I want to make sure we talk about, because we talked a lot in the episodes about feeling like something was off in the Sansa, Arya, Bran, and Littlefinger plot line. And I can't remember, I don't think I talked about this in the last one because I think I saw the article after, but there was a scene that was cut.
Yeah.
Of Sansa going to Bran and saying, "You need to help me figure this out."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I think that would have explained a lot, and I think it would have really helped.
It would have. And but I mean, it would have made things less shocking too, because that scene is so powerful because you're not expecting her to turn ahead and say Lord Baelish. It's like the moment. At least for lots of people, it was kind of like my self-satisfaction because I predicted this was going to happen. She said Lord Baelish. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and I guess when you are thinking about like the way you're going to kind of craft the series, you do want to leave some little holes in certain plot lines to give that kind of effect. But even something that didn't show their conversation and just showed that they had talked.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, when they came in and he was at the table with Sansa, I'm like, he wouldn't just be sitting there for nothing. He had to have told somebody something. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. I heard someone else say that too. Yeah.
But there's a quick little thing since we're on Littlefinger, just to make sure I say it if we don't come back. I found this thing online that I don't remember where it was. I couldn't put in the document because I was on my phone when I was reading it. But someone brought up the fact that since Arya slit his throat, she could theoretically take his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought about that too. Yeah.
And that she could get close to Cersei that way.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Like, who she could get to, but Cersei would trust him too still, because she would.
Yeah. Well, she wouldn't trust him, but she would have a meeting with him.
Right.
She does that, so, but still. I'd love to see Arya finish her list. I would love that.
Well, maybe what we should do is do wishes and predictions. So for wishes, we want to see Arya finish her list.
And I still haven't seen, they didn't show us the ice spiders big as hounds.
Oh, right.
We have to see those things. They talked about it like 3 or 4 times throughout the whole series.
Yeah, I remember you talked about that when we were recording for Gaming with the Moms. You were like, the ice spiders, where are the ice spiders?
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, after our the Geek Embassy plays Pathfinder, I would be very glad to avoid spiders. Since I actually had a giant one crawling on me in the game. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I tend to avoid them too, but they've been building this up.
Yeah, the mentions here.
Don't talk about it so much if you're not going to have them. And they've given us like cool stuff, like the polar bear that we didn't even, hadn't been mentioned before. But everybody talks about the ice spiders.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a sense of satisfaction with that polar bear, mostly because, and I've told Isabella this before on one of our drives to Seattle for a con.
Oh man. One of our many
times where I just go off on rants and she has forced to listen to me because I'm driving, about how it always bugs me that the zombie stories never have the animals turn. Like, there should be zombie dogs in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Like,
well, this is one we've discussed, like, it usually goes off into this whole discussion of, is zombieism how is it communicable?
Yeah, like, would it, if it's just affecting humans, would it affect other animals too?
And whether if it affects animals, we're all screwed because there's too many.
Right. And if it infected bugs, then we would really be dead.
Yeah, like if it's like what's that one game? The game where you like create a virus that like
I know what you're talking about.
It's like, it's not Plague, is it?
It is Plague, yeah. The phone game. Yeah, it's Plague, yeah.
Yeah, so like you slowly have like these infection vectors.
Yeah.
If you get like mosquitoes, everyone's screwed because you get into everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you can't get that realistic or else you're dead.
Right. I mean, it's, you know, it's a world where, you know, dead flesh is animated, so it's, you know, obviously not, you know, real, but yes. I have long held the belief. I think it was when they brought the tiger into The Walking Dead, and I was like, come on, zombie tiger, let's go. So the undead polar bear sated my desire to see that. It also set up the premise that he could take over the dragon as well, because we did have precedents for him to have an animal.
Yeah.
But did we ever discuss how the White Walkers are like made? Do they have to be consciously made? Or is it a communicable disease?
Well, I think they have to be consciously made. So, God, was this season or the last season where they showed the children of the forest like making the first White Walker?
Yeah, where he stabbed him in the tree.
Season.
That was last season.
Or season 3. Season 2 or season 3. Craster, you know how he would never kill any of the boys. He would put them out in the woods, and a White Walker would grab them and take them to like this ice shrine place. And there's a scene of him like touching the cheek eye of a baby. Yeah. And then it like turns to ice. So I don't know how many sons Craster had, but there could theoretically be a lot of them.
Yeah. So then, and that was always my question too. So then they take them with babies and they get marked and their eyes turn blue. So do then they like, are those the generals? Like,
I don't know.
Or do they like mature? Do they like grow up?
It's confusing because you can't. What the heck are you going to do with a baby?
Right. Like they have to grow up. There's no way for them not to. Like we can't like just have, you know, infants.
I don't know.
But apparently it works all different ways because John is undead and supposedly is going to have a zombie kid. I don't know.
You know what it'll be? It'll be a zombie dragon. Like that's what it will be. Like the last child she had was a dragon and he's a zombie. So it's going to be zombie dragon.
Oh, wow.
That's how they're going to combat whichever one it was. Right.
Oh man,
this is turning very Twilighty.
It is, but you know, given the source material, and you know, given some of the crazy, you know, other crazy fan theories, because I guess we'll have to include ourselves in crazy fan theories as well. Let's see, we have Bran Stark as potentially also the Night King. I'm still not buying that one.
Yeah,
I hate this one. I could accept maybe Bran is Bran the Builder and somehow goes back in time to create the wall.
Yeah,
that's somehow more plausible than.
And I can even understand. Yeah, like I can hang with Bran talk too much to Daenerys' father and drove him mad. Like I could see that happening,
Mm-hmm.
like him doing that, but I don't see the connection between that and he's the Night King.
Yeah.
I don't see a connection between those.
We're getting into like time paradox.
Right.
Things.
Like this. Yeah, the Martian fly
past him and it's somehow gonna explode the universe or something.
Funny. All right, so it looks like Tormund didn't die. That's at least
do we know that for sure?
We don't know it for sure.
Okay.
But go ahead, Isabella. What were you saying?
Oh, well, because we don't see him or
the guy with the patch, the eye patch.
The
Dondarrion.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see them run, but we don't see anything else.
We see them run, and especially with Dondarrion, I've seen the point that Tormund is the only wildling that we know, pretty much at this point. He's the only named wildling.
Only named one.
So we can't just like wipe out all connection to that.
Right.
But we can't kill off Dondarrion.
Yeah.
When he's been clearly brought back so many times.
Yeah, he has to have a bigger purpose. Like he said, he even says that. He's like, you think he brought me back this many times to have me die on this rock? Like, no.
Right.
There's a
he's not gonna die on like a wall collapse.
Right. But what I read was that they don't go down the ladders. Like all the men go to try to get off the wall and they run to the edge of the wall. And if you look at the hole that they cut, there's part of the wall where they had run to that's still standing.
Oh, okay.
So I think the basic theory is that they didn't that everybody died who tried to get off the wall because they were all in the path of the ice fire as it came.
Yeah.
But
so they're like running along the wall.
Yeah, they ran along the wall and you see them take off. And you watch the episode, you can see them take off and they run kind of like where the camera is and the destruction's going on behind them and they run toward the camera and down and out of sight. And so I think the idea is that they're still on a section of the wall that's left standing, that he carves like a big hole out of it or a big concave out of it. And that's where the White Walkers are going and they're still up on the top of the wall.
So I bet they're probably going to be like our eyes into, the invasion of the army the next season. Like they're going to be the ones seeing all that happen.
Yeah. But then the thing that's, that's all great that they saw them, but how are they going to like go?
Yeah, how are they going to communicate it
to go to Winterfell?
Yeah.
Or are they going to send a super fast raven? Because I guess that could be possible too. It'll get there a week before the Walking Dead, before the army of the undead gets there. We've got plenty of time to repair. It's gonna be
exactly. We've got plenty of time. We'll just, let me just text this really quickly on my frozen ice.
Okay. I've got this ridiculous image in my head of Tormund and Dondarrion trying to talk to a raven like it's Lassie. Tell Bran where because a dragon.
I have this image of them getting rescued by one of Daenerys' dragons, like the hobbits get rescued at the end of Lord of the Rings. The dragons just come in and swoop in and pick them up and fly them away.
Yeah,
like the only people living on it.
I don't know if it's my husband or someone else, like said that the episode 9 when the dragons fly in was like that type of thing. So, but yes, it's predictable, but I mean, you're getting to the point where.
But it's less Deus Ex Machina with like one of them dies. They're not just like swooping in and taking them out and then nothing happens.
The power that they had was still compromised through it. So yeah. The 3.
Yeah. So the other stuff that I had is stuff that I witnessed that I didn't get before, which I don't know if this means anything or not, but so in the episode where Sansa this is right after Jon left, when Sansa's talking to like the Maester and her Master of Arms and all those guys are walking like through the Winterfell, and she asks Welkin, I think it's Welkin, what the longest winter has ever been. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll confer with Maester Lewins. He kept a very, very, extensive record of everything. And Littlefinger at that point was like, what? So we know that he got the Sansa's note from him later on, but I just wonder if he stirred up something else. Like, was that the only scroll that he took? And could there be more like messages stuffed in his mattress, or wherever?
Yeah, could he have gone through other stuff and like pulled out other dirt or other stuff that he would want to?
Yeah. Especially if there's like a scroll of everything. Like, it sounds like the only scroll that wasn't there was the one that that Lysa sent to Catelyn the very first season, because Catelyn burned it as soon as she got it. So, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So there's that. And the other thing, which I totally could be imagining this, but it looked like to me when Arya was fighting Brienne and Sansa was watching them, it looked very much like Sansa had a slight smile on her face. Slight. And like I said, I could be imagining it. But the actress is really good at those sort of slight smiles, because last episode after Ramsay got eaten by his dogs, and she turns around and walks towards the camera, and she's got a little slight smile there. So I don't know. That's just something I saw too. And the part of my notebook that you guys said you sort of saw, Bran's hands, is when he gives the dagger to Arya. The way that he moves his hands is like if you're putting something very valuable on a shelf and sort of like making it stay. Because the way that he gives it to her is kind of like, so I really think that he knows what's going to happen at that point and sets things in motion.
Before we go on from that, do you think so we know, like, and you called it that she would get Littlefinger with the dagger. Do you think it's going to have greater significance to come?
The dagger? Probably. Yeah.
Because it's Valyrian steel, so the whole thing I was thinking of was it's going to be significant when the White Walkers arrive at Winterfell.
Yes, because there's not that much Valyrian steel left in the world. So.
Yeah.
So there's Jon's sword. There is Sam's sword, I believe, too, the one he took from his house before he left.
Yes.
For the Citadel, and then the dagger. And I don't know, one of the other big houses probably out Jaime's. Jaime's sword is Valyrian steel, too.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the other fan theories that I've read is that Gendry, yeah. Gendry knows how to make Valyrian steel.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why he's been kept around as a character, was because the blacksmith that he was.
This is the reason.
Yeah.
Really the blacksmith.
Right. He was apprentice for the last one who knew, the last blacksmith who knew how to make Valyrian steel. And so one of the theories is that he'll be the one who'll be able to. Craft the weapons.
This could totally just be way off the hook, but I noticed this as actually today. As in the opening credits, they show you all the little cities and everything. The only two cities that have a sigil on them are King's Landing and Winterfell. And Winterfell's sigil has changed. So it started with the wolf, and then it was smoking, and then it was the Boltons, and then it's back to the wolf again. King's Landing has always had the stag on it. It has never changed, and it should have a lion on it now. So I don't know if that's just like, we've already got this filmed, we don't want to touch up this art, but for me, I'm like, they made the point to change the Winterfell one.
Winterfell.
So why is there still a stag on it? Because Tommen died last season, so he wasn't really a Baratheon, but he was the one that was understood to be a Baratheon. Right.
But he was ruling as a Baratheon.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas
Cersei, she's not.
Yeah,
she's
not at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can read lots of stuff into these things, but it's probably just like, no, we don't want to reanimate this thing. We have to make the new location for Eastwatch, and we got to do Old Town.
Yeah, it could be, but I don't feel like they make decisions like that. It's HBO.
Yeah.
And if they're going to spend $10,000 a wig for Daenerys, then animating one thing, which they'd only have to do once, and then they could use it all season. So that's interesting to think about. the significance of it and why they would, if they were trying to. And I don't even know how many Easter eggs they leave, but they really have, at least in this last season, tied into so many things that happened in earlier episodes, and like things that we had totally forgotten about. So maybe
they've been using Bran to do that, which is super cool. But I didn't. That just, you know, like I said, I was watching the last 2 episodes again downstairs in our where our TV is. Was it yesterday or the day before? And I should have taken my notebook down with me, because as soon as some stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I have to pause it, run back upstairs, write it down before I forgot it.
Well, you're just trying to get some exercise in, do some extra stairs.
Yeah, so that was the stag one. And then also when it sort of came to me that Jon might be immune to ice the same way that Dany is immune to fire, that was another one too, right? I should have learned my lesson to just keep the notebook downstairs with me. Run back up the stairs again and be like,
yeah, well, it would be interesting, because I thought about that too with when Jon went in the water and then he bounced back out again, not for the cold, but my theory is that he's not breathing anymore on some level, that he doesn't actually have air anymore, and so that was one of the reasons why he could come back out from under the water. But the cold would certainly go along with that if he was immune to it.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't he like jump out of the water like gasping though?
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The breathing thing I think is a little hard, because it, you know, he's coming out of his mouth when they're up there. No, it wasn't the breathing.
It said his heart isn't beating. That's what I'm.
Oh, okay.
Because his wounds
he's
didn't
not
heal.
Like being slowly frozen to death.
Right.
If he's, you know, there's no blood pumping in his body.
Right. But for whatever, because his wounds didn't heal, because of how he looked. When his chest was revealed, that his, you know, the wounds were still pretty prevalent. They didn't look like scar tissue, or like you would expect scar tissue to look. So I feel like there's something going on with that, like that maybe that's part of it, because I don't know if he got stabbed. I can't remember if he got actually stabbed in the heart, right? Didn't the little kid stab him in the heart at the end?
Yeah. Ollie did, yes.
Ollie, yeah. So
little Ollie.
Maybe that's part of what. Oh God, you just said his name and I don't remember. Beric Dundon. Who's the other guy?
Beric Dondarrion.
Dondarrion.
Yeah.
Beric Dondarrion says as you come back a little less each time. I wonder, has he been stabbed through the heart? Because I'm wondering if, like,
who knows? I think he's been killed in every manner of ways.
Yeah.
I should have gone back and rewatched it, but I don't remember, because he has a fight with the Hound.
Right.
And he kills him, and that's the first time we realize that he's a character that has been brought back.
Right.
But I don't even remember how the Hound killed him.
Yeah, because we know he lost his eye, because we looked that up in one episode. Yeah. So I wonder if, like, maybe it's not that his heart isn't beating, but it just doesn't beat as fast or as effectively. Because that was part of how he died, was getting stabbed through it. I don't know. Theories.
Yeah.
More theories.
Which is why I'm still confused on how he's going to have a kid.
Stuck on
magic.
Who knows if he's got swimmers? He might not have swimmers. He might be shooting blanks too.
And this is where we turn into Twilight again, because this was like a whole plot point in Twilight.
When the undead have sex.
The one thing, though, because I know the first time that we talked about it, we were kind of like, what is up with that love seed? And it just seems so off and so terrible. And then there's that video that they released from the creators and the actors. It's like, that was on purpose. That was like how you were supposed to feel when you were seeing this happen. Like, oh.
Yeah. Also, along with that was another theory that the reason why Tyrion was looking the way he was looking was because he had made a deal with Cersei.
Yeah. I think that's plausible.
Yeah, I think that's plausible as well. That he told her that Daenerys couldn't have any kids, so her unborn child could potentially take the throne from her. So.
And now she's like, oh man, I faked this thing. Now I got to come up with a real baby.
Yeah. Right. And then we'll just bring in the plot of the first season of Glee, where the wife is faking her pregnancy and wants to take the teenager's baby once she has.
Oh my God. Why did you remind me that this was a thing that happened? Oh God.
That was so awesome.
I had forgotten everything about Glee, and now that's in my head again.
Oh, your face. I win tonight. Thanks. I'll be here all week.
I had suppressed everything I knew about Glee.
I will bring it back.
Oh, so do we think, one, Cersei is pregnant, and two, is she pregnant with Jaime's kid, or is it some weird Qyburn experiment thing that is
I don't think she's pregnant. I was sort of like, you guys have been talking about the whole time. I'm like, well, you know, but after rewatching the last episode again, and how she just very conveniently puts her hands on her stomach at the perfect time.
Yeah, it's like so deliberate.
Yeah, well, I know I totally felt it was manipulative, and I felt like she was playing Tyrion for sure.
Yeah.
It's whether or not she was playing Jaime as well is the question. And I didn't get a chance. I started rewatching. I got through the first couple of episodes. I think I got to episode 3, and then I didn't get back to it. I should have gone back and watched the finale again. But I don't remember she brings the baby up when Jaime goes to leave. Does she bring that up when they're fighting and she threatens him?
I think so.
I can't remember, because I feel like if your baby daddy twin brother was about to turn on you, when you're about to have his baby, like, you would be throwing that out there a lot stronger. Like, this is your child and you're not going to be here, and you want me to, you know, I'll end you. And
I think that she has, that she did use it as a way to sort of like bring Jaime to heel for the most part, because, you know, he's been sort of, you know, he's been the more rational person. And then it was like, what was it, episode 3 or 4 that she revealed that she's pregnant, and I'm like, oh, this is just how she's gonna make him feel guilty.
She's gonna control him.
Yeah, she's gonna control him. And then so I don't think she's pregnant anymore. I just don't think it is. I suppose weird Qyburn something is plausible. I mean, I guess I never thought that they would bring the mountain back that way. But, you know, and he's.
Sorry.
I'm still thinking of the finale when he runs up to the.
I know. I was thinking of the exact same thing. Of like, well, it was a meme. I was thinking of a meme that was like, you know, find you a man who looks at you the way Qyburn looks at a, you know, dead reanimated hand. Like,
wow, what is this thing?
How do I do this? This is my masterpiece. How do I make this happen? You know, oh God, just disgusting. But I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if she's pulled him into whatever web of lies she's created and he's helping her, or she's going to use him to help, like if she's going to fake a miscarriage or something like that. Like he could, you know, help support her in that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if she was really pregnant. I just really don't. I really don't think.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Isabella? What do you brought it up. So do you have a theory on this?
About whether she's pregnant or not?
Yeah. Or
I've never thought she was pregnant. I think she's been manipulating everyone from the beginning, and I think she's getting Qyburn to help her in some way. Or at least to help cover up the fact that she's not pregnant.
Right.
Whether that's like, you know, like faking symptoms or something. I don't know.
And bringing her, you know, special herbs or whatever they would have, you know. the Game of Thrones equivalent of prenatal vitamins made by the guy who likes to reanimate dead flesh. I mean, I don't know. It could be a thing.
I don't know. Someone had to tell her that you're not supposed to drink when you're pregnant. Maybe it messes with whatever the heck he's giving her.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's so wrong. It's so awesome, but it's so wrong. Yeah. What else do we have here? Any other?
Nicole, did you talk at all about the one that well, I assumed it was yours. The one about the Isle of Faces.
Oh, yeah. We haven't talked about that.
Oh, yeah, no, that was me. I put that in there.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
The history, the Nerdist one. Yeah, so everybody who's listening or watching this, the Nerdist has this great and continuing series called The History of Thrones, where they're just like delving into like all of the like lore, combining the books and then talking about what's going on in the show too. It's pretty cool. But yes, that was the one I wanted to make sure we talked about that one. So and you can talk, you might know a little bit more about this, Nicole, than I do. The Isle of Faces.
Nope, I didn't even know. Well, I mean, I probably knew about it, but I wasn't reminded about it till I read the thing, because book 4 and 5 were just like, yeah, anyhow.
So the Isle of Faces is where the children were, right?
The
children of the forest.
Yes. It's plausible. I mean, this theory, which you can see on the Nerdist, is that that's where the Night King is actually going.
Right.
Which makes sense. I mean, he seems smarter than just like, I'm an evil guy, I'm going to kill everybody, because he was very, calculated about getting the dragon. So it makes sense that he would be actually going to a specific place as opposed to just
wanting to wipe them out.
So that makes sense. It does make sense. Like I said, I don't remember that from the books. I'm sure it's there. I just don't remember.
It's where the first men and the children of the forest kind of came together. It's where, and there was a godswood there that they started cutting down, and then that was part of the conflict between them.
I actually think it might be the place where Bran went back to see them make the first White Walker.
Yeah, that's what it says in here, and it shows the picture of the Night King being made there. Because he was essentially stabbed by Dragonstone into a godswood tree, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember where I read this, but I read once that all the godswoods were connected to each other, like, they communicated to each other,
like psychically linked. Physically.
So like what was witnessed by each one was witnessed by all of them, kind of deal thing. So I don't remember where I got that from, or it might have come out of my brain. I'm not sure, but because of that.
Credit for it, because it turns out to be true. You're like,
hey, I'll take it. Like, so that was part of what I was thinking, because for a while, and I'm still not sure 100% sure about this. I know that, like, we're talking about Bran's powers increasing and his ability to control was getting greater. But that was one of the things I was thinking of in terms of when originally it seemed like he had to be in contact with the godswood to go into the past. And that was one of the things that I was thinking at that time was, well, the gods would be, if they were connected with each other, if you touched one, you would touch the memories of all of them. And so if they were all, in different places, then they would have different memories from each of those places, and he could connect them for that reason. So,
yeah, there's another thing too that's sort of been running around the internet, like a kind of WTF thing. Like, I think everybody seems to think Bran knows like everything all the time.
I don't think that.
He doesn't though. It's like, he gets them, he even says that it's pieces, it's like fragments that he sees. So I think that, like, people are like, oh my God, how did he not ever know that Rhaegar actually married Lyanna? It's because he hadn't had that piece.
Right.
Like, it was Sam's prodding that made him go see that specific thing.
Right.
So, and that's the other thing too, like, he asked Sam, why he came to Winterfell, and everybody's like, why do they have to, what? He has to know.
Right.
No,
yeah.
He doesn't know
He's
everything.
not actually he's not actually a psychic either.
Yeah.
Like, it's different. Like,
Yeah.
he sees the past and he can see into different creatures' consciousness. He can share consciousness with a different creature when he wargs or whatnot in the present. But isn't it also, though, that he can control them in the past too if he has enough of a connection with them? Because with Hodor,
Hodor is the only one. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, like, his connection with him was really strong, and he had controlled him multiple times in the present as well.
And he also, though, his mental capacity was not large, Hodor's.
Yeah.
So he may have been easier to jump into than somebody else. But the only thing I think that he actually, when he was talking to somebody and he knew what the answer was when he asked Littlefinger who the dagger belonged to.
Right.
I think he knew it at that point. He wanted to see what Littlefinger was going to say so that he could, be like, oh, this guy's lying. Maybe I should look at some other stuff that he did in the past.
Maybe I should see where this dagger takes me. Like, I wonder if, how much, knowledge he can get from, like, can he search his databases for, do any other memories come up from this object?
And even, Littlefinger just, like, gives him some more information. He's like, this is the dagger that started, the War of the Five Kings. That even gives him a more narrow time frame.
Right.
Okay, when did the War of the Five Kings start? What happened? Right. What happened to my dad during that time? Oh, right. Littlefinger surrounded him and held to his throat.
Yeah.
Well, I think his power is more like he's not all-knowing necessarily, but he can, if something triggers it, he can, like, tune into that, like, specific, he can, like, follow the breadcrumbs back to, a specific point in time, unless he has, like, a specific connection. And I did think Regina, you made that point up about the werewoods being linked. Because you thought that they were, like, honing his power somehow.
Right.
Or that he could only see the past if he was touching them or near them. Like they're a medium of some kind.
Like, he had to draw on their power, because that's how he learned it. Was the old three-eyed raven was part of the tree.
Yeah.
Right. He had grown into it, and so I think maybe that might have been part of where I got that idea from. But at first, he tells him to touch the tree, and then that's how he can see it. So
So I've always thought that trees were like a medium for his power, just to help focus it.
Yeah.
And then as he gets, stronger, he doesn't have to rely on that focus as much. He can,
or he
just
doesn't
do it
have
by
to be
himself.
he doesn't have to have the proximity to it that he did while he was still learning.
Right.
So he still might be picking up on it. It might still be working as kind of like a divining rod or something like that, but he doesn't have to actually be touching it for that to be the case.
Yeah. He's always close to one in Winterfell.
Yeah, exactly. There. Yeah.
So.
Which is why going to Winterfell was, a good move for him, because I don't think there was one at the wall, right?
No. There was one a little past the wall. That's the wall, where Benjen drops them off.
Right.
The end of the last season is
right
by
that
tree.
Yeah.
Because he crawls up there, and then he learns the worst kept secret in TV. And that is that Jon Snow is not Ned Stark's son.
Right. Yeah. Well, that was one of the articles that I had put up here too, was going back through all the discussion of Jon Snow's lineage, from starting in the first season, and how they were very clever about how they did it. Like when the conversation that he has with Ned, right? When they say goodbye, he's like, well, the next time I see you, we'll talk about your mother.
Yes.
And he says,
you don't have my name, but you have my blood.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's very, cleverly written in terms of like how to, lead into where they're going, which is fascinating if you think about it, because I feel like, since they've gone off the rails from the books, of course, because the books aren't out, and they're definitely not writing what, George R.R. Martin is going to write in the end. to still be able to plan. Like they've just done really well tying back in and having that foundation kind of set it up.
Yeah, I think what happened though too, I don't know where I saw the creators say this, but they were huge fans of the books and they need to have his sign off. They wanted to make the show, but they needed to have his sign off for it. And so they went to dinner with him and he asked them, who is Jon Snow's mother? And they gave him the correct answer, apparently. That was their test. Like, if they had given the wrong answer, then they probably wouldn't have got his okay to do the show, but they gave the right answer. So with that being in mind, they knew right from the beginning
that they were setting that up.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good, because that definitely kind of shows the consistency of the story, which I was worried that they were going to lose because they were going from the book material to freeform. I don't even know what to call it.
Well, you know what? It's funny because in the 5th book, I don't know, spoilers for anybody who's read the book because it isn't a separate story.
Right.
It's revealed that Aemon Targaryen, the little baby, Rhaegar's son, the tiny baby, was not actually killed and that he was spirited away like Dany was and that he's still alive. And so in the 5th book, Tyrion is actually with him. And they're on their way to meet up with Daenerys. And, Daenerys is his aunt. So they're like saying like, oh, I'm going to marry my aunt. So I don't know. They're working the aunt nephew.
Right. Love connection.
How can we bring this into the show?
I know.
I don't even know where he was going with the books because Jon Snow isn't in book 5, and at the end of book 4 is right after he got stabbed. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
So he's potentially, we're still in like the is he dead or is he not phase in the books?
For the books, yeah. Potentially.
But he didn't cut his hair, so we know he's still alive. Sorry.
I don't think that
I believe he died.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
The other thing too is I think he's been such a more beloved character in the show because when I read the books, he was like, whatever. It wasn't a character that I hated reading. I hated Sansa, but he was just sort of there. Like I loved Tyrion and I loved Arya. I hated Sansa, but Jon was just like, but he's there. So that's why book 4 was totally uninteresting to me. Is because there were so many POV characters that weren't in it, which I think is the stupidest move George R. R. Martin has ever made in his life.
Strong words.
It is. It's just, if he had just done it like he had done the other ones. And then it's so bad that like people have actually gone through, this isn't surprising, but people have gone through and sort of listed out how you need to read the chapters from book 4 and 5 to have everything chronologically instead of separated by
POV
setting.
It's region. Yeah, it's region, right? Yeah. I know. I have, when I first started watching the show and I was reading the books at the same time because I watched the first season, then I got the books, and then I stopped reading when I was trying to read book 2 and watch season 2 because I just couldn't handle the brain fry between like, wait, but that is what am I, like, I just couldn't keep it straight what was going on. So I'm like, I'll go back to the books later. But then my friends were like, yeah. And then you get stuck with all these chapters about Sam and you're like, he's just really boring and you don't get into, and they're like, oh, and then the books get to this point where they're not all the stories. It's just certain ones in certain areas. And I was like,
book 4 suffered from that because, it was actually I think it was one of the first times that Cersei was a POV character. It was funny to read Cersei and Jaime's POVs in that book. I won't give them that. But everybody else was like Jon, Brienne, some other, I don't even remember, some other character I didn't care about. But all the important ones were like Tyrion and Dany and Arya were all on the other side of the world. So they weren't in book 4 at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's banking on your
spoiler, Bran dies in book 4. So
I knew that. Yeah.
No.
The show kept her around. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did, edit and sort of keep the characters that, I mean, they did the same thing on The Walking Dead as well, where, you know, like Carol died, I think in the second, you know, early in the comic book series, and then they kept her. I don't remember if Daryl dies as well, but
Daryl, no, I think is Daryl in the books?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
No, maybe not.
I thought, yeah, I thought he was like the one that they totally made up or something.
Now I read the first comic, but I don't remember. That was long. That's another one that I didn't read the books for because it was too confusing to have the comic and the.
Oh, I gave up on the comics because they were just too damn violent.
Yeah.
Which is saying something for that show.
Yeah, saying something for that show. Yeah. So, yeah. What was there was something I was going to say, some other thing I was going to bring up, and I don't remember what it was. All right. So what is that? Everything, all the theories we wanted to sort of touch on. Oh, fascinating. I read an article about the percentage of incest that Jon and Daenerys babies would have.
I know. I saw that.
This is like
one of metric?
Yeah. Like it was seriously like they did the science as to like how connected their child would be based on their lineage.
Okay, I pulled it up because this is ridiculous.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good at all. The baby, it's like, what was it?
It's like almost 50%, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, it's almost 50%. Yeah. Jon and Dany share between 44 and 47.5% of their DNA, meaning that all the Targaryen inbreeding over generations has made them practically siblings.
Yeah.
Which is a 50-50 overlap.
Oh, because their lines have been so closely inbred that they're...
Yeah. The Targaryens are related. Crazy about that.
Yeah.
Which is Cersei's explanation for why it's okay for her to be with Jaime. The Targaryens did it.
Right.
Why can't we do it too?
Right. Yes. But it's still less than Joffrey. So.
Wait. There's this one part in that article that you were mentioning that this is how many sex scenes this season were incest. Answer: about 2/3.
Yeah, we've gone somewhere I wasn't expecting to go. Not with the show. Like I expected us to talk about this because I really did find this fascinating. Like to look at and see like somebody's actually done the math.
Right. I know exactly.
Somebody actually did the math and broke down, you know, the percentage. So between 44 and 47.5%, you know, incest for their child. So is, you know, less than and. Yeah, Jaime or Joffrey, because Jaime and Cersei's mother they weren't inbred. Like their coefficients are still 50%. So like if they had been inbred and then it would have been over 50%.
I know
incest coefficient.
Somebody did this math. I know, it's so funny.
I love it. I just you know, it's truly what I love about Game of Thrones is the fact that people are so engaged in it that there are, and this is an Uproxx, you know, article, but that somebody actually did go to the point of like finding somebody who does genetic history and say, can you figure out the numbers of this for me?
Do you think that's part of the reason why they made Rhaegar Targaryen look exactly like this?
Yep.
At first I thought it was the same actor. I swear.
I did too.
I swear to you, looking at the picture right now, I still think they're the same person.
I know. Like they're like, it's just disturbing. Yeah. That, you know, how close they look. And they're like, oh, it's just the hair and the clothes. And I'm like, no, it's really not.
No. Even the profile.
The profile, his nose and everything.
Like, why? That's the first thought I had. I was like, why would they get the same actor? Like, I get they want to make them like, you know, siblings, but really? Oh, it's too funny. It's too funny. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So let's wrap this up a little bit with our predictions. So I predict that Tormund and I keep wanting to say Dungaree.
Dungaree.
Dondarrion are still alive. Broderick, right?
Barrick.
Oh my god.
It's late. Sorry. And it's a Monday and it's the beginning of fall semester. I have so many excuses. I can get more if you need them.
How about I've been up since 4:30 this morning.
That's worse. So I predict that they're still alive. That both of them are still alive. So I'm putting my name on that one.
I think that one's a pretty fair
Yeah.
bet.
I didn't say they didn't have to be, slam dunks.
Right. Okay, then mine is Cersei is not pregnant.
Okay.
She's making that.
I was just gonna say that too.
Not pregnant.
We can co-sponsor that theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's another obvious one then. The Hound and the Mountain are gonna fight and take down. Although I believe, I didn't look for this either. I believe that the Hound and Cersei are the last two people on Arya's list. So
I wonder if she's really going to kill the Hound, though.
I know. I would just love her to finish her list, though.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about the prophecy with Cersei at all.
Oh, yeah.
Do we think one of her brothers is going to kill her? I still think Jaime's going to be the one to do it.
I would go with that, too, especially now that he's left.
Mm-hmm.
Before he left, I was like, I think. But now that he's left and he's actually going to, and he sees her for kind of...
Which only backs up my reasoning that she's faking, I don't think.
Yeah. I still think she would have been more powerful about that in the I could kill you conversation.
Yeah. I think she just really didn't think that he would go against her like that. She had no idea that he was actually going to do it, which is why she didn't really have the Mountain slice him up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's interesting, too, if you think about... as the audience, we're privy to so much more of Jaime's transformation than Cersei has been.
Yeah.
And ever since he came back after he lost his hand, he has not been as forthcoming to her with his feelings as I think he might have been before, because he's such a changed person and she doesn't understand the change. He's just broken as far as she sees him. So maybe she really doesn't understand the depth of his transformation.
Yeah.
The way that we do as the audience. So she underestimated him.
Yeah.
Which hopefully will work very well against her.
Right.
Because something's got to go against her because she's awful and she's got to go.
Yes. I mean, okay, there's a prediction. Cersei's going to die.
Yes.
Maybe we should go through who we think is actually going to make it to the end.
Okay, I think Tyrion's going to live to the end.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah.
I think Varys is going to make it to the end.
Although Melisandre did say that he was going to die.
I was just going to say that. Melisandre said he was going to die in a strange land.
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily mean he dies in this, but
based on that scene, she's going to be back next season too.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she'll be doing when she comes back, but it sounds like they wouldn't have had her have that dialogue if she wasn't really going to be back.
Yeah, and if she didn't have some important role in what's to come. I'll throw down that she's going to die.
Yeah. She says she's going to. Good one, Regina. Yeah. I'll just take her at her word.
Yeah. She said she's going down. Yep. Who else? What do we think? Jaime lives or dies?
I'm gonna say that he's gonna die. I think it's gonna be Tyrion. I'm thrown between Jon or Dany. One of them is not gonna make it.
I don't think Jon is gonna make it.
Yeah. And
I think he'll sacrifice himself for her.
Yeah. And I hope Arya makes it to the end.
I think he'll have some greater part in killing the Night King, and it's going to require some crazy sacrifice.
Yeah. I hope Arya makes it till the end.
Yeah,
I think Arya makes it.
I think she will too.
And Sansa.
I think Sansa makes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sansa's going to sit on the throne.
Really? You think so?
I do.
That's interesting.
What's the girl's name? The Bear Island. No, the one who's in love with John.
Oh, Lyanna.
Mormont.
I hope she is back next season and lives the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
I thought she was going to be back more this season than she was because everybody was like, oh, she's back. She's back. I'm like, awesome. And then she was in like the first 2 episodes and that's it.
Yeah.
So
I love her. I love the actress who plays her. She's doing such a great job.
Yeah.
I think Euron dies.
Yes.
Yeah. Hope so.
I hope he dies a cowardly death.
Yeah.
I think Theon's gonna die as well.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
He has to die.
He has to die. It's the only way he can. I don't know. He can't even make up for what he's.
Yeah.
Once he left his sister, although I totally understand like the PTSD of what was happening to him in that moment. Once he left his sister, it was pretty clear that he's gonna have to sacrifice himself. So are we gonna say that it's Yara, right? Yara live?
I don't know. All the Greyjoys might get wiped out.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want her to die, but I don't necessarily think she's gonna live.
Well, we'll have a little like ambiguous box here. I'm actually drawing notes for anybody who's interested. I will be putting this up on the website with the post to hold us accountable next year for what we said. So Yara's going to go in the big question mark box. I'm going to put it on the bottom here.
Yeah, because they haven't been beyond wiping out the entire houses.
Yep.
Because they did it with Tyrell. They did it with Sam is still a Tarly, but he's not, like.
Right, but not a real Tarly. He was disowned, really, but.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're not, above wiping out all these houses.
The whole house.
So, and Dorne, the Martells.
The Martells, too. Yeah.
So.
Who else is there? I guess I could have pulled up IMDb, but.
Oh, the Freys.
Yeah.
Not that they were that super important, the Freys. The Tullys are gone.
The Tullys are gone, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they basically wiped out everybody last season.
Brienne makes it? I think Brienne makes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she'll make it or she'll die.
She might stop
one of the Stark girls.
Yeah, exactly. For that thing.
Because it already said, like, this season, she said that she didn't feel like she did much of anything that actually got them home. So I think if she has the chance to really do something, she will do it.
She will, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's most of the key players who aren't already dead. Because there are a lot that are dead. Yeah. It's the Game of Thrones, and it's the last season of Game of Thrones. And so, lots are going to go down.
Yeah.
Nicole, did we ever talk about on the show your, like, Harry Potter-esque theory about what was going to happen? I just remember that.
Yeah. No, I think I was tired when I came up with that. I don't think it's real. But no, I was... It just came to me like when I finally like accepted the fact that like John and Dany were going to have a baby, that baby would be Azor Ahai, and that it's going to like not kill the Night King, but like sort of make him go back to sleep like Harry Potter does for Voldemort. So I don't know. It's possible, I guess. But when I thought of that, I was like, hey, and now I'm like, no.
It could be. Well, and then we'd have to have, like, if he just puts him to sleep, though, it means he could still come back again.
Yeah. Well, they did. I mean, that happened. I don't know how. Nobody knows how it happened, but it happened. Hopefully, Sam will find it in one of those books he stole.
Right. I loved all the memes too about Sam stealing Gilly's thunder.
Yes, yeah.
I'm still annoyed.
I know, me too. He doesn't even like give her credit. Oh, my girlfriend, not baby mama.
Do you think she went back and like made him like talk about it more?
She had to have done something because he obviously was not listening to her.
Right. There's no way.
Yeah. He like stopped listening after she talked about how many that the guy recorded all of his bowel movements. Like he stopped listening there, which is why he got the numbers mixed up.
Right. Steps. Oh man, it'll be interesting to see what happens with them too. Oh, does Sam live though? We didn't say. We'll put him in the maybe.
Yeah, put him in the maybe.
Yeah, I think he's kind of a I don't know.
Not a prediction, but what I'm looking forward to, and pretty much everybody is looking forward to, how everyone's going to react to John and Danny's relationship, like Arya and Sansa. What that WTF moment is going to look like. It's just, and even for Danny too, because I'm pretty sure Bran is going to tell. Well, I don't know. He opened up and he told Sam what was going on, but I figured he would tell John first before he told.
Yeah, I thought he would too. I thought he hadn't said anything. Yeah.
But he said it to Sam, so maybe Sam's going to let it slip to him before Bran is just.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
He does that, like in the first season.
So in character.
I know, because
so his character.
Yeah, because in the first season he's works for Master Aemon, so he sees all the scrolls,
right.
And then he's trying to keep a secret from John. It's like, no, I don't want to tell you. And I think it was the scroll that said that Rob was going off to. When Rob was going after war, it was one of those things that happened in the first season that Sam saw the scroll and was trying to keep it from John, and he was unable to do that. So.
Yeah, he can't keep a secret. There's no secret. There's no secret keeping with Sam.
Yeah.
And I kind of love him for that.
Yeah.
Oh, funny. All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps us up. Is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on?
I don't think so.
I think we got it. All right. Yeah. So this was season 7, right?
Yes.
Season 8 has not been announced for when it's going to air, though.
No. They've started filming. I think if they haven't started filming now, they're filming at the beginning of October.
Okay. So the filming's going to begin. My prediction is going to be next summer sometime, right?
Maybe I don't know. Fall? I think it's either going to be fall, possibly early 2019, possibly.
Okay.
They've just stated that the production is going to be bigger because they have to film in Iceland more. And speaking of which, those people who have HBO Now, I don't know if they're on regular HBO, but if you have HBO Now, they have these really awesome behind the scenes videos that are broken down by episode. They released the 4th one today. I didn't know they were up there, so I watched all 4 of them today. But one of the cool things is that there is this island in Spain that had the kind of cool slanted geographic structure that they used for Dragonstone, but they couldn't film all of it at that place in Spain, so they made a mold of some of these rock formations and then brought it back to build the set.
Oh my God.
I know, making mold of like a rock wall is just insane. So these are fascinating for people that are curious, because the scale that they go to.
I love to know insane. That kind of stuff, like the details between what they do and what are practical effects and all that stuff. I always love to see that, because I love to see how they make it look the way that they do. So all right, so if you're watching or listening, we'd love to hear your predictions. I'm going to put all this up on our post with this, all of our predictions. Now I'll share the links from the stories that we talked about, including the incest coefficient. That's what I should call this episode. Game of Thrones, the incest coefficient. So please go visit us on thegeekembassy.com and listen to Nicole and I on Gaming with the Moms weekly. So as we beat up Steven.
Yes.
And until next time, get your geek on.
Bye.